Hey everyone, we are at an interesting time in LEGO Star Wars where we have just about every single set leaked for the rest of the year. Unless there happens to come across some surprise set, it seems like we have every single set leaked for the rest of 2025. So that's why I wanted to make this video. I wanted to compile every single leak so far that should last the rest of 2025. So with that said, let's go ahead and get into it. The next set you can expect this year in 2025, it will be March 1st, the $70 AT-AT driver helmet. This set has actually already had official set pictures released, so we have a high definition look at it, and it looks spectacular. It looks very well priced and perfectly in line with the rest of the helmets. However, I argue that this might be the best looking helmet yet. The details on this thing are astounding. It's so good looking. They really nailed this one, and even though I'm not a big fan of the helmet line, this one I might even have to get. It's really good and at a good price too. Definitely one to watch out for. Also releasing March 1st is the Millennium Falcon polybag for $5.74 pieces. Seems like a pretty good polybag. We also have pictures of this one, and it's good. There's nothing really else I can say. It's your typical mini Millennium Falcon. Nothing too exciting, so I'll just go ahead and move on. Now the next sets for the year will be released in May, and there's quite a few. The first one is really exciting. That'll be a U-Wing. This will be based on Andor Season 2. It'll retail for $70 and come with 594 pieces, as well as 5 minifigures Cassian, K2, Dedra, and 2 Stormtroopers. Everything I'm hearing about this set seems to be a home run hit. We haven't seen a U-Wing since the Rogue One movie release, and I can't wait to see it again. The ship has such a unique and interesting design, plus troop carriers are always fun vehicles. Another reason I'm so pumped for this set is because it's based on Andor Season 2. Andor Season 1 only received one set, which was a big shame, because that was a really good show. Easily the best show Disney Star Wars has put out. So thankfully Season 2 it seems will be getting more sets given all of its success. Really excited for this one and can't wait to see how it turns out. The next set after that is Kylo Ren's Shuttle. This will be in a MIDI scale, which is also known as the Starship series now. This set will cost $70 for 386 pieces, and that probably jumps out at you as it should. That's a really low piece count for $70, although it's probably just a lot of big pieces, which would somewhat make sense to me. The ship has a very interesting design that would make it very challenging to build, so I'm sure there's probably some Technic in there even, and maybe some more features that we don't know about yet. I'm sure that's probably what's pushing the price up, as otherwise this just seems horrible. However, I'm not too afraid of that, as LEGO's never gone too crazy overboard with that kind of pricing. The big news here though is the return of sequel sets. It seems that LEGO has been starting to pepper them in here and there, so at least sequel fans have something to look forward to this year. After that we have a very interesting set, the Star Wars Lego. For $60 it'll come with 700 pieces. And that seems okay I guess, but this logo is gonna be something to look for. I'm really curious as how this turns out. The only thing we have to base this on is the Marvel logo that they just released a couple months ago, and that one's kind of cool, but it also is kind of lame. I mean, you're just paying for a logo. It'll really depend on how they tackle this. The Marvel one I kind of like just because it went a little more interesting as it added figures in there and had them kind of popping out, but it's kind of okay, I guess. The problem with this Star Wars logo though is it was already rumored that there were going to be no minifigures included. This would have been the perfect time to see a George Lucas minifigure, and that would have made this set worth it. However, just the plain logo and nothing else, that seems off to me. While I still kind of like the idea, I feel like it's LEGO. They should have done something more creative that fits their brand. And who knows, maybe that's still the case, but right now, things are not looking too good for the set. Moving on from that though, next we have a Jango Fett helmet. At $70 and 616 pieces, seems like a fair pricing, and this set should be pretty interesting as well. The helmet line is in fact not dead, as we're getting 2 of them this year. That AT-AT driver helmet, and now Jango Fett's. It seems LEGO skipped a year, which is what they might be doing with the dioramas this year as well. This helmet though is super exciting as it's another prequel helmet. This will be our third one after Rex and Cody's, and it'll fit really well with those two. As of course, Jango Fett is the host for the clones. Plus, he's a Mandalorian. Those helmets always look good. I mean, look at Boba Fett's. That build is great, and I'm sure this will be just like that one, except obviously in the blue and silver color scheme. Should be a really neat set, even though I'm not too big into the helmets. After that, we have more Jango Fett propaganda, and that's his UCS Starship, also known as the Slave One. This will include a Jango and a Boba Fett minifigure, which assumingly will all be super well detailed. And at $300 for 2,970 pieces, that seems pretty well in line with the old Slave 1. To think we haven't seen this set in over 20 years and now we're getting a UCS model. This will probably be one of the better ones of all time as well. The UCS line has some great sets, but Jango Fett's Slave 1 is just going to be something else. It's just such an interesting ship with such a cool design that it's going to make headway in any collection. Not to mention the UCS sets we get now are just so crazy good. I can't wait to see how this one turns out. And after that set, we have a third helmet set. Believe it or not, these sets are coming back strong with a Kylo Ren helmet. Another sequel set, this one will retail for $70 at 529 pieces. I find it really interesting how the sequel sets are catering towards somewhat older audiences with a displayable ship and a helmet, as most of the older fans are actually the ones who don't care for the films. It's kind of an interesting take by LEGO, but at the same time, I don't mind because Kylo Ren was actually one of the cooler characters from those films. I think out of all three, Kylo Ren is the one bright spot in all of them. So a helmet set makes perfect sense, especially with how much he dons his. Should be interesting to see how this one turns out. Next up, we have a buildable chopper at $100 with 1,039 pieces. At that price, I'm sure it'll be in a similar scale to our previous buildable R2, which looks amazing. So if they follow that formula, I've no doubt this will be another great set. And even though I'm sure it's going to be branded as from the Ahsoka show, I'm really glad they're dipping back into the Rebels content, as I think it has so much more to offer. I think this is a great choice for a buildable character, and it's going to be a really fun set. Our last set for May is the Luke Skywalker Rebel Pilot Brickheads. This set is going to have 138 pieces and release in May, and probably just be your typical brickheads. Nothing too exciting, but fun for those of you that collect that. I personally do not, but for those of you that like those sets, you have that to look forward to this year. Now we're on to the June wave, which is a bit smaller. Only 3 sets are going to be releasing at this time. This first one is going to be Plo Koon's Starfighter Microfighter. At $15 for 89 pieces, that seems fair enough, even though I'm not a big fan of the price increase for the microfighters. However, Plo Koon making his way back into LEGO is going to be awesome. I'm sure the microfighter will be great, but of course the minifigure is going to be the big sell here. And I can't wait to get a modern version of that minifigure in my collection. After that, the next set we have is Darth Maul's mech. Now this is going to be a Clone Wars version of Darth Maul, so we'll have his robotic legs. And I'm curious as to if that'll translate into the mech design at all. At $15 and 143 pieces, that seems perfectly in line with the others. And while I'm not a big fan of the mech line, I am kind of looking forward to this one. The recent X-Wing mech kind of made me change my mind and think there could be something to this mech line. I really liked that set, so maybe they'll follow that same pattern with this Darth Maul mech. The final set of June will be the Death Trooper and Night Trooper Battle Pack, which will be seeing 2 Night Troopers and 2 Night Death Troopers. It'll retail for $20 and come with 119 pieces, and that build is going to be the Imperial Guard gunship. Or some version of it, as of course 119 pieces isn't a lot to play around with. That of course though isn't the main sell, the minifigures are, as that's what you buy battle packs for, and I can't wait to see this one because the Death Troopers and Night Troopers are going to look so good. We already have a sneak peek of one of them on the Dual Peridia set, and it looks great, so I can't wait to build more of that army. Finally, we made our way to the August sets, which is quite a big wave of sets. There's a lot to unpack here, a lot of big ones. The first one being a UT-AT featuring the Galactic Marines. This is going to be a dream come true for so many Clone Wars fans. At $150 for 813 pieces, that price seems a little off, but only time will tell of what this set actually comes out as. I'm sure there's something more to it, as that does seem a little too far out of bounds. However, I don't know if it's going to matter because people have been waiting for this set for so long, and the Galactic Marines have been just one of those figures people have been dying for years. Finally being able to pick them up, I'm sure this set's going to sell out day one. There's going to be a lot of demand for it, and one of them's going to be me. I've been looking forward to the set for so long. That's not the only Clone Wars set to get excited about though this year. There is a V19 Torrent coming out as well. At $60 and 567 pieces, we have a pretty good value here, looking at what could be one of my favorite sets ever. I love this ship, and being able to see it now is going to be amazing. I never got the chance to get it back in the day, so I can't wait to pick this one up, and it's going to be a day one purchase for me. It has such a fun design, and I just can't wait to see how LEGO tackles that with modern LEGO. Not to mention these minifigures are amazing. Only 3 of them, so there could be more, but I don't even care because you're going to get a clone pilot and Obi-Wan as well as Ventress. That's a really stacked lineup, and I'm including the clone pilot in there. All three of them are going to be really exciting to get. Rare figures we haven't seen in forever. It's giving me old Clone Wars vibes, and I just can't wait to pick it up. The next set we have is the Rebuild the Galaxy set. Now this set still has a little mystery surrounding it. Originally it was leaked that this was going to be a turbo tank, but now people are saying it's a Rebuild the Galaxy set, which it could be true both ways. However, it's still kind of foggy in what it's actually going to be. The price tag and piece count doesn't really fit a turbo tank. It's going to retail for $50 and have 349 pieces, but if it's a Rebuild the Galaxy set, that could make sense. I'm not really sure and I can't speculate much as I haven't seen the show, but I do like all these sets so far, so I'm sure this will be another good one. The next one after that, we have a UCS set, an AT-ST for $200. Our last one we saw was quite a while ago, so I'm glad they're getting around to remaking it. I don't imagine they'll have to do too much different though, as that was a really good set back in the day. I'm sure they're just going to kind of upgrade it and modernize it. That doesn't mean though that it won't be a great set and something to look forward to. The next set after that we have is another 18 plus set. It's a buildable battle droid. For $100, this actually seems really interesting. I love the idea. The old Technic battle droid immediately comes to my mind, and I know they're going to stay clear of that mess. This will probably be primarily brick built, but with their interesting shape, I'm really excited to see how LEGO tackles this challenge. Plus, I just think the battle droid's iconic, and I can't wait to see it built and in a big scale like that. This is a set I think that's getting overlooked, but is actually really exciting, at least to me. We have another buildable figure to talk about, and that is a buildable Ewok. This one will retail for $90, and this one actually kind of has me a little scared, I guess. I actually really love the buildable Chewbacca, even though people are kind of mixed on that one. I actually love it and think they did a terrific job, so I'm sure the Ewok's going to be just as good. They seem to be doing a lot of these buildable characters, but I don't mind because I'm loving them. They're doing a great job, and I hope that continues with this Ewok. The next set is going to be a big one, the 327th Star Corps Battle Pack. This is a Clone Wars fan's dream year. This is going to be so great. A Clone Legion that everybody loves and we haven't seen in, basically forever. I don't even know if we've really ever seen them. Once in 2008, there was one figure in that battle pack, but besides that, that's been it. Now we're going to finally get them in a modern look, and being able to build a full army of them is going to be great. There's going to be 4 of them included, of course, and then on the droid side of things, there's going to be 1 dwarf spider droid and 3 super battle droids, which seems like a pretty fair battle. What doesn't seem fair is the price point. At $40 for 258 pieces, I'm just not too sure about that. The price and piece count isn't that far off, but I don't get why this set needed to be $40. It's a battle pack, there must be some kind of bigger build. I'm sure the clones probably just have a big swamp speeder and that's what it is. I will kind of be disappointed if that's the case though, as it just kind of seems like LEGO's including bigger builds just to kind of get on the Clone Wars bandwagon because they know people are going to buy a lot of this set. Maybe not, maybe they just want to make a really good set, and if that's the case, that's cool too. But I'm really going to have to see this set before I pass judgment one way or another. Now, after that set, we have another buildable figure, and actually the second Andor Season 2 set on this list, and that is the K2SO buildable figure. This set will retail for $90, and it should be pretty cool. There's nothing more I can say about it, I just feel like K2SO is a good character, and is going to translate pretty well into LEGO. And while it wasn't necessarily the Andor set we were all hoping for, I think it'll be pretty good anyway. The next set to talk about is the Separatist MTT, which is another big hitter. It'll be $150, and it's going to be the Clone Wars MTT variant. So it's going to rock that blue and gray color scheme from the Clone Wars, which will be incredible to see for the first time in LEGO. We've only ever had brown iterations of it, and while that's great and cool, I can't wait to see this new variation. I love this branching out LEGO's doing with all these new vehicles. Giving us new variants is just so rewarding because all the time we see constant remakes. Having something at least a little fresh is nice. What's also really nice about this set is the minifigures. Of course, for this troop carrier you get 10 battle droids, but the more interesting of them is Ayla Secura and Commander Bly, 2 Clone Wars favorites that are going to fit very well with the 327th battle pack I mentioned earlier. Like I said, it's going to be a really great year for Clone Wars fans, and this is just another reason why. Our final set of the summer is a Jango Fett Slave 1 play scale. This one will be $70, so a lot more affordable. And while this might seem weird at first, I actually like that they're offering a cheaper option and the more expensive option because Jango Fett Slave 1 is a ship everybody's wanted for quite some time. So only offering it at that higher price point would have been upsetting to those fans that just can't afford that. So offering a playset version as well is pretty nice of LEGO. I think it's a pretty good move. The figures, of course, I'm sure will be pretty similar too, but not quite the same. Although who knows, we got that $600 Captain Rex from the UCS vendor in that microfighter, so maybe we'll see the same thing here and get those really high-end figures in this set. We'll have to wait and see. And that wraps it up for our August sets. After those summer sets, September 1st, we'll see the advent calendar for $45. Of course, we've come to expect this every year from LEGO, so it's nothing new. Nothing else is known on it, so we can't really speculate or say anything too much about it, but it'll be there for all of you waiting for it. There is actually one more set to talk about for 2025, and that's the big one. In October, the $1,000 UCS Death Star will be releasing. I'm sure you've all heard about this set. There's so much speculation on it, but nothing else really known about it, and I can't really pass too much judgment on it until I see it. It's going to be a really controversial set though, I'm sure, either way, no matter how it turns out. But man, am I excited to see what this looks like. And a $1,000 LEGO set just sounds crazy, and I'm really curious as to how LEGO will tackle that. Nonetheless though, I'm happy we're getting another UCS Death Star 2, as it's been way too long. It is long overdue. And that was actually the last leak of the video. This should be the entire lineup for LEGO Star Wars in 2025. Now there could be maybe another surprise set or two, who knows exactly, but from what we can tell, this will be it for 2025. And honestly, I am super excited. It seems to be a really great year. Maybe it's just me, but I think all these sets have the potential to be classics. Absolutely none of them seem like duds. All of them have something I'm excited for, but maybe that's just me. If you disagree, let me know. Also, let me know which ones you're looking forward to the most. And that said, I just want to thank you all for watching. Like and subscribe for more content, and until next time, I'll see you guys later.